Hi everyone, it's Anthony back with another video, and it has been quite the long wait between videos. I think, I don't know, maybe we might be even coming up on, it hasn't been quite a year, but it's been probably about 10 months, maybe a little bit longer since my last video. And so I'm super excited to finally be back and recording again. One of the biggest changes is I moved yet again from, where I was originally filming, then I moved to a new place. And in that space, I think I recorded one, maybe two videos in that time since when I was living there, but it just wasn't ideal for filming. Originally I was filming in my bathroom. I had this gorgeous bathroom to film in, and then the bathroom that I had when I moved was just not really conducive to filming, not a lot of space, and I was also kind of confined to my room as far as where I could film, mainly because while I had good roommates and that was great, they weren't the cleanliest folk, so I never really felt comfortable filming in that space, and when I did, it involved a lot of cleanup and organization just to there wasn't ever really a space to film. And in my room, trying to film, I was kind of like crammed up in a corner, really didn't have the opportunity to film very well there either. So I think I did one video and the lighting was just terrible. I couldn't figure it out. And so I ended up just kind of skipping out and filming and just sticking to Instagram and the Facebook groups that I belong to, that type of thing. And so now I've moved again in my new place, which I absolutely love. The bathroom's still not super conducive to filming. I probably could get it done, but I have an office now and I have my own space where I do my work, and now I've got my whole skincare set up behind me now, and I have this entire room now to kind of set up shop and do some filming, and so I'm getting back to it. I've been here for a couple months now, and I finally kind of had the confidence to get back into the filming realm, and so here we are. So welcome back. For those of you that stuck with my channel and kind of just been hanging out in the wings waiting for a new video, or if this is brand new to you, check out all the older content, tons of reviews, get ready with me's, get unready, all of that stuff, which brings us to this evening. I'm going to be doing my evening routine with you all. Huge changes to my skincare routine, still trying a lot of new products. I've done a ton of reviews in the past 10 months or so since the last time I filmed, but I just wanted to go through what I'm currently using today, talk about the products that are new to my routine, some that are staples that I've been using for quite some time, and just kind of walk everyone through those. So, all that being said, I'm going to be showing my oil cleanse, my first and second step cleanser, and then going and taking a shower and doing that, since I can't set it up in the bathroom. I don't have it set up yet, so you won't see me washing and all that stuff. This will just be kind of like topical applications after cleansing. But I've got my little caddy with my skincare products that I'm using right now. And so let's go ahead and just jump into what I'm currently using for my first and second step cleanse. So right now I just started using this. This is from Youth to the People, and it is their brand new Super Berry Dream Cleansing Balm. It's got that maquis oil, prickly pear, hyaluronic acid, and a bunch of other great stuff. I believe I've shared some Youth to the People products previously, but this is their latest launch. So just got this in a couple days ago. I've only used it twice, but it's got this interesting dense consistency, a little bit more dense than a typical cleansing balm, but I found that it still rinses and emulsifies pretty well. Takes a little bit to warm it up and get it worked into the skin, but once you get it going, totally fine. I found that it leaves my skin feeling nicely hydrated, but it's only been 2 nights, so we'll see what kind of cumulative benefits, if any, it has. But so far, as a first step cleanse, it does get rid of excess oil, sunscreen, all of that good stuff. And it has that super berry scent that the oil from this line, and I believe they've got an overnight mask from that super berry line. It's just this kind of fruity berry smoothie kind of scent that I really like. So, and it's in a I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up. Oh yeah, it's got a very thick glass jar to it. When the package came in, I ordered 2 of them. It was like, I think it said on it was like 2.5 pounds. Like, this thing has quite a bit of heft to it, but we're gonna go ahead and go in with that. And then the next step, and this will be the first time I'm using this, is gonna be from Keys Soul Care. It's the skincare line that was developed with Alicia Keys. This is the Golden Cleanser. So I believe it has some squalane in it. It's more of like a nourishing cleanser, maybe geared a little bit more towards dry skin. I guess we'll see when I use it for the first time tonight. But it's been in my stash for so long. I bought, I think, one of each of the Alicia Keys face products. They have body care now. But this is the first time I've actually opened. I think I've had it maybe when they launched, maybe a year ago, and I'm finally breaking into it. So I've got that, got a lot of other stuff too. We're gonna be doing a wash off mask tonight. We're gonna be doing a sheet mask tonight. I didn't have any actives in the game plan tonight just because the weather's been transitioning here in Colorado. I'm 35, I have normal, combination, oily skin. It really just depends on the season. Kind of combination is where the middle ground is for me. And the seasons have changed, and when fall really hits in Colorado, it gets incredibly dry incredibly fast. So I'm getting some cracked and chapped lips, which I've been trying to manage. And then I've been noticing that now after I use my actives or chemical exfoliation, I use a combination of tretinoin, BHA, and AHA, and then I also have an enzyme cleanser that I use occasionally. I rotate those actives in and out of my routine. I've been noticing I've been getting a little bit dry around the mouth, a little bit of flakiness on the neck where I shave. It tends to be a little bit more sensitive to actives and can even peel. My skin gets a little peely. And I've been noticing it also along my brow line too. So I'm gonna kind of be cool with the actives and even lengthen the time that I use them. So I'll go a couple days without doing a BHA, and then I'll do that, and then a couple days my AHA, a couple days my tretinoin. And I think that's what I'm gonna do until my skin kind of acclimates to the colder weather. But I'm also transitioning some heavier products. I'm kind of in this in-between where I'm using some of my lightweight gel style stuff for spring and summer, and transitioning into some creamier, thicker things. And I also have a facial oil that I'll be incorporating tonight. But right now, for me, it's all about soothing, reducing any irritation and flakiness that I get because of this transition in season, and then focusing on hydration, and then trying to lock that in as best as possible. There's a combination, it's almost all stuff that I've paid for myself, but there is one product that I'll be working in tonight that I'm doing a paid review for. So I'll definitely mention that, I'll call that out. I'm just reviewing it to do a blog review for an online retailer. So I'll mention all of that when we get to it towards the end of the routine. Actually, there's one more that's kind of in the middle, but we'll cover all that. And yeah, we'll go through my evening routine so you all can see what I have been using most recently and kind of catch up with me a little bit. I might mention some other stuff that's been going on too as we're going through this routine, but mainly let's talk about this evening routine and let's get it on my face. So let me go and double cleanse, hop in the shower, put some jammies on, and I will be back. Bye. All right, so just finished up with cleansing and hopped in the shower. Still a little hot from, I think the water was a little too hot this evening. I should have toned that down, so I'm like, whew, a little sauna-y today. So let's go ahead and move right into the rest of this evening routine. But before we do that exactly, I wanted to call out a couple of products that I'll be covering ideally in some future reviews. I have been getting more into body care and hair care. As you can see, the hair is getting a little out of control. I'm letting my curls go. I usually shave it or have it pretty close cut, but got the curls going now, and I think I'm gonna let them grow out. I'm kind of loving them. And one of the reasons why I'm kind of really excited about letting my hair grow out and more confident than I ever have been with my curly hair, it's been a lot more manageable, is I've been working in products from Pattern Beauty, and that's Tracy Ellis Ross's hair care line. So hopped out of the shower, didn't want to do anything too heavy with the curls, like a heavier leave-in conditioner or an oil, because I was going to be filming. If I want some hydration for the evening, but I don't want it to be too heavy, I've been going for the, the lighting's not going to love that. That's the Hydrating Mist from Pattern Beauty. So I'm about down here with it. I use this anytime I want a quick refresh for my hair. It's a mist style, so I usually spray it into my hands and then work it into my hair just to have some more control. But I like it because it stays in place, but it still offers a lot of hydration. It doesn't drip down into the forehead. It doesn't really mess with my skincare too much. So if I am doing that, I'll just do it right out of the shower, just about like 10 pumps, and then I just kind of work work it into my hair. Not too much, but just enough. And I really, really like this for a nice lightweight moisturizer. So our curly hair folks are people that just want a nice lightweight leave-in style product. This is great. I also use this during the day. Like, let's say I'm finished with the day, I get home, but I'm gonna go out again, and I just wanna refresh those curls, give them a little bit more of a life and kind of more of a ringlet kind of look. I'll just go back in with this just to get some more definition out of my curls. And so been using that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, when I get out of the shower now, sometimes it takes me a little bit before I go right into my routine. I'm looking at my phone or doing something else, and I don't like to just leave my skin cleansed and it just starts to dry out, especially since it's been so dry in Colorado. So I've been using the Mistian. This is the Mistian Facial Mist. This is a K-Beauty brand. I've been using it for about 3 weeks now. I keep it in my to-go bag. And then sometimes after I get out of the shower and I go a couple minutes without starting my routine, I'm like, oh, let me just do a mist so I can finish dinner or whatever else I'm doing, you know? So it has this incredibly fine mist. It's almost like you almost can't feel it. It's so incredibly fine, pressurized bottle. And so I just give myself, a couple swipes of that just to get some hydration onto my skin and kind of give me a little bit more lead time before I start my routine. But I've been loving this. It's got some beneficial ingredients. It's not just water. It's all in Korean, so I'll have to, when I do my full review of it, I'll have to go and look up everything once again. But I just love how incredibly fine that mist is. It's just awesome. It's still kind of just in the air. So yeah, I just kind of do this. It's perfect on hotter days or those really dry days if you go outside and your skin just gets zapped of all the moisture. Just to come inside and give it a little bit of that. It gives you kind of a hydrating glow too. I do this before I reapply sunscreen. So really liking that. But we're here to talk about my evening routine as it stands. So let's get into the first thing that I'm going to use, which is a wash-off mask. So I've been incorporating wash-off masks pretty much every day, whether it be clay-based or maybe it's an exfoliation-based mask or something that's just all about hydration. I kind of rotate through them. I try to do once a day, sometimes every other day. It just depends on how much time I have. But recently I have been using the Peach Slices Snail Rescue. This is their intensive wash-off mask with 95% snail mucin. So just like it says, first ingredient here, snail secretion filtrate, excellent for hydrating and repairing the skin. You also have Centella asiatica extract in here for soothing and calming, licorice root for hydration and calming, hyaluronic acid, which is pretty much in everything, strawberry fruit extract, and then I believe you've got aloe leaf in here as well. It's this really interesting kind of crystal jelly consistency. Let's go ahead and crack it open. So yeah, it's got this like interesting jelly consistency and it holds its shape. It's kind of like this bouncy kind of crystal gel consistency. And I like it so far. My only thing that keeps me from like reaching for it a lot more, I typically will go with like a clay mask or something, is because I use a little brush to apply my masks. I guess I don't have to, but because of that jelly consistency, it's really hard to get any product onto it. You can see I'm just like, oh, maybe not, but you can see I'm just kind of pushing at it. And so it makes it kind of a pain to use in this manner. I think I might just use I hate using my fingers, but you can see it just kind of sits on the surface of the brush and doesn't actually get in. So let's set the brush aside and let's just dip our fingers in there. Even with your fingers, it kind of feels like that stuff that they use in like plants and flowers. It's kind of like that, those like little jelly balls or have that gelatinous stuff that holds onto moisture. Kind of feels like that. I'm gonna do the best I can in the camera. But I do a fairly thick layer of this over my entire face. And it is nicely hydrating. And I have found that it does help to soothe some redness, and it does definitely battle that flakiness that I was mentioning. So it does the job. I don't know necessarily how reparative it is. I think this whole line is geared towards like, fast track to hydration, blemish-free skin with an even glow. I don't know how much it's been helping with breakouts. I think my actives are kind of doing all the work there as far as keeping whiteheads and stuff at bay, and it doesn't necessarily seem to help too much with like texture, and I've been dealing with texture issues once again. The dryness causes me to produce more oil sometimes, and that can lead to texture issues, buildup of sebum, that type of thing. So I don't necessarily know if it's helping with that too much. It feels nice, but it's not any more impressive than like another hydrating mask that's a lot easier to use. I feel like I am going with the thick layer. I'm sure you could go thinner, but I feel like just because it's so goopy to get out, you end up scooping out like really big clumps, and so I am kind of burning through this. I feel like it's a fairly affordable mask though. I'll link the prices and links to where to pick everything up down below, but I'm not hyper impressed with it, let's just say that. It's just kind of okay. It does stay jelly and bouncy for a long time. This never really dries down, but it does form kind of a film over time, almost like, you know, if you leave Jello out and it gets exposed to the air, it kind of gets the crusties on the surface. That's almost what it's like, and it is a pain to rinse off. You really have to work at it, and it just kind of slides around the face. I find it best to do my double cleanse in the sink and then put this on and then get in the shower to rinse off, because I really need all that water to really get it off. Otherwise, I resort to wiping it off, which can be a little bit abrasive, wiping it off with a towel. So it's just not the easiest to use. It's not the most elegant, like it's just kind of a mess. And the results aren't like shocking, you know, so it's okay, it's fine. After I cut this off to go rinse it off, I'm gonna put a little bit on my lips and leave it a few more minutes, because it does work pretty well as a hydrating lip kind of mask. There's no scent to it. I think that would be really, you know, it seems really approachable for sensitive skin types. There isn't anything too crazy in here. But I just kind of get a nice layer. It doesn't, also looks kind of weird. But that's that. You can see I used a pretty decent amount, and now my hand's all covered and stuff. So let me chat a little bit about that double cleanse that I did a little bit more. I kind of briefly skimmed over it while I let this sit. And then I'm gonna probably let this sit for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, just depending on time. And then I'm gonna go rinse it off. But I wanna quickly touch on the double cleanse that I did. I grabbed the box for the Keys Soul Care, the golden cleanser, because this was the first time I've ever used it, and I should have done a little bit more digging before I just started the video, but it looks like we've got here some coconut-based surfactants, so it should be pH balanced. You have some chamomile flower extract in here, turmeric root, a lot of texturizers and hydrators, some emulsifiers here as well, castor oil, and then some colorant and fragrance. So it's a very, very simple cleanser. Your highlighted ingredients here, I guess, would be your chamomile flower extract and your turmeric root. So antioxidant and calming is what you should expect from that cleanser. It's fine. It's fine. It rinsed nicely, it lathered up really well too, and gave kind of a luxurious kind of creamy feel, even though it is a gel-based cleanser. The thing that struck me though is the fragrance, and I kind of knew the Keys Soul Care fragrance ahead of time because I bought their candle and I ended up burning the candle before I ever started any of their skincare products. And so it's this kind of patchouli meets slightly floral, slightly woodsy kind of sandalwood. It's a very unique scent, and it's very layered and kind of complex and interesting, but I found it to be a little bit too powerful in that cleanser. I don't mind a little bit of scent, and it didn't linger, but the whole bathroom smelled like the scent just from applying my cleanser that one time, and I think I did 2 pumps. So the fragrance and kind of the sensorial effect seems to be a focus with Keys Soul Care, which I think was kind of even in part of their marketing, is that they're kind of creating an experience for you as well as good skincare. So not necessarily my favorite thing in the world. I like a cleanser that maybe has a mild scent and something a little bit more clean, a little bit more fresh, rejuvenating. This was definitely like, let's light a candle and set the mood kind of scent, which some people are gonna love, and I actually like that sandalwood or that woodsy scent, but I want it to be a little bit more herbal, like a kind of hanbang, traditional Korean herbal kind of scent coming from like mugwort and teas and that type of thing. So I like those earthy scents, but those more woodsy scents can be a little bit overpowering. And I tend to develop a sensitivity to things like bergamot, sometimes sandalwood. So I'm curious to see if they do utilize some essential oil-based fragrance or if it's all synthetic. They don't list it on the package. We'll see how my face reacts with that. But that's that for that. And then, oh, I didn't grab oh, I did, yay. The box for the youth to the people. I just wanted to break it down a little bit more. I just kind of read straight from the bottle. Oh, and they're not gonna make it easy to read this, are they? I mean, you can't even see that, but it's white on beige. You have sunflower seed oil here. You've got your emulsifiers. It looks like there's some jojoba seed oil in here, moringa seed oil, a bunch of different plant and flower and fruit extracts as well, similar to the superberry oils. And this was the third time I used it. It's thick. It's thick. You really got to get in there and scrape that stuff out of the jar, and it takes a while to really warm up in the hands to get it onto the face. And then I noticed that it doesn't have that same kind of slip and slide that some other cleansing oils do, like the Vanilla Co Clean at Zero, the Pharmacy Green Clean, the Solve Skincare Coconut Oil Cleansing Balm. They just go whoop, 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 and I love using those for facial massages because my gua sha tool can just kind of slip and slide. There's some pull and some drag that's involved with the Superberry Dream Cleansing Balm. So keep that in mind. You want to have a really gentle hand with it and not push too hard because you don't get that slidiness that you get with some oil cleansers. But it is a nice feeling. It feels kind of luxurious because it's got that weight to it. And it almost feels like an oil cleanser that doesn't have emulsifiers in it. You know, those ones that you need a hot towel to get off or you really have to work them off. It feels like that, but it does emulsify and it rinses relatively cleanly. I have that combination, sometimes oily skin, and I don't do so well when oil cleansers don't rinse fully. I don't like that feeling of almost that waxiness on the surface of the skin that's left behind. This doesn't have that. It just takes a little bit more work. I do rinse it off. I've rinsed it off in the shower every time I've used it, so I've got plenty to work with. And I don't really have too much of an issue with it. It leaves my skin feeling soft, a little bit hydrated, a little bit nourished, and it kind of sets me up if I do end up having a cleanser that's a little bit stripping to kind of create a very slight barrier there so I'm not left with like dry stripped skin. So I like it. I could see it being geared more towards normal and dry skin for sure, but those with combination oily skin, I think you can get by with this. However, if you like that clean rinse that really feels like it got all the excess oil off, all the sunscreen on, you're left with that kind of bare canvas to work into your water-based cleanser, I'd probably go with something that is a little bit more of a clean rinse. So once again, Pharmacy Green Clean I love, Vanilla Co Clean at Zero, I'm like looking at them through the ring light. I'm looking at all of my oil cleansers are right behind us. And I just recently finished using the Inky List, their oat cleansing balm, which was also pretty thick, but I still feel like that one rinsed more cleanly than the Youth to the People option, the Superberry Dream. So keep that in mind if you are looking for a new oil cleanser. Personally, I don't think I'd come back to it. I ended up getting two because I just love Superberry so much as a concept, and the formulations are great. So I'll probably end up using them both just fine. After that, probably would stick with either Vanilla Co or the Pharmacy Green Clean because those are like my go-tos. And the Solve Skincare one is excellent as well. So let this sit. I'm gonna go relax, probably charge up the camera a little bit more so we have enough time to talk through everything. And when I come back, I'll have this rinsed off. We'll talk about the after effects of the peach slices, what are they calling this? The Snail Rescue intensive wash-off mask. We'll talk a little bit about how it does tonight. I kind of gave a brief overview. And then we'll move into the rest of my routine. We've got toner, essence, serums, sheet masks, moisturizers, all of the fun stuff. This is kind of my long routine, but I'm gonna use this last little bit of Snail Rescue gunk to put on my lips, and so I'm gonna do that, and I will be back. Bye. Okay, so got the Peach Slices Snail Rescue mask off. It is such a process. It kind of like I said, it doesn't really dry down necessarily, but it stiffens a little bit. I'll say that it stiffens a little bit. And like I said, it feels kind of like Jello, like a Jello salad kind of thing. It's just very, very goopy, very jelly-like. And so it does emulsify or break down with water, but it kind of fights it a little bit. So you end up really just pushing waves of it around, and you really have to use a lot of water. Made a huge mess in the bathroom. And then the thing that I especially dislike is I do it on my neck because I do have a lot of hyperpigmentation and scarring that just is a continuous thing from shaving. I've used various things and it has kind of, I'm managing it, but it's still there. And so when I put that product on my neck or my jawline and I go to push it, like rinse it, it just kind of it just slips further and further down. So then I'm kind of like trying to do this to get it off, and I end up just using a cloth, which creates a little bit of friction, irritation. I noticed that my nose got red as I was kind of wiping it. And so I just don't like using towels on my face, as I try to do it as little as possible. When I dry my face and I decide to use a towel, I literally just press it. I don't wipe. So I don't care for it at the end of the day. It's a lot of a hassle if you're not going to use it outside of the shower. If you're going to use it in the shower, great. But the benefits versus how long it takes to use and how long it takes to rinse, they're just not that great for me. My skin feels soft. It feels slightly hydrated, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to reach for that every time. And the areas that I didn't get a clean rinse, like it went like all the way down here. A little bit sticky, a little bit tacky. I might have to go wash that again later. So, and it kind of like when you go to wipe it, it kind of just goes right up into the hair. So now I've got, you know, the mask kind of little mask halo. So I'm not particularly a fan of it. I think that was my 5th time using it, I want to say. 4th or 5th time. I'm going to give it one more go just to see if there are some cumulative benefits that I can notice over time, but really it gives a little bit of burst of hydration, maybe some slight soothing, but that's all negated when you have to scrub with the towel to get it off. It's just, it's not the most elegant mask to use, and I'm not seeing a huge benefit from that high concentration of snail ferment in that mask. I'd rather get that in a toner, which they do have, and a moisturizer, which they do have. I haven't gotten a chance to try those yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to have better luck with those. So that's that. Let's go ahead and move on. The next thing that we've got is Xinjiang, the Etude House Xinjiang pH 5.5 Relief Toner. This is one of the first K-beauty toners I ever used when I started getting into skincare and K-beauty, and I really, really fell in love with it. It's just a very simple, no-nonsense hydrating toner that has some calming and soothing ingredients in it. Panthenol is in here, madecassoside is in here, I forget what scutellaria, I'll put it in either on the screen or put it down below, but it's got that root extract in it, which I think is used for soothing or hydrating. It's also got green tea leaf extract. The ingredients list is pretty darn short. This was sent to me in order to put together a paid review, so just beware of that. It was something that was sent to me from Glowy Co. I do some writing on the Glowy Co blog, which I'm super proud to be a partner with them or working alongside them. And so the owner will send me products from time to time so I can put together a review that I don't share on my personal blog or on Instagram. I put it together for the purpose of that blog. And so we try to aim for products that we kind of already know, or I already know that my skin gets along with, and I can just kind of rehash them and see if they're still just as good. And I'm loving it so far. I've only been using it for a few days, but it's a classic for me, so it was kind of a no-brainer that it would be just fine. So we're gonna go in with a couple layers of this. I just do a few, a little splash on my hand, kind of work that into my palms, and then press. And it just offers a lot of watery hydration. That Panthenol helps to soothe and offer some reparative properties, helps to support skin barrier strength, that type of thing. And it just absorbs so nicely. I could layer and layer and layer until my skin is just like dripping, and I'd be so happy. So I've been loving this in this transition, because packing in that watery hydration and then sealing it in with a nice moisturizer, a little bit of oil, really helps to keep my skin hydrated throughout the day. And it really has been helping to do its best to keep that flakiness at bay. I still get a little bit, but that's as a result of a higher strength tretinoin that I've worked into my routine, which I'll do a separate video about all my actives because I have quite a few that I rotate through. So that is that for the toner. So we'll set that aside. Little bit goes a long way, and I think you get 200 milliliters in this, which it's such a good value. This whole Xinjiang line is such a good value. So yeah, whee! There's the toner. And then we're gonna go ahead and go for the essence. And the essence that I've been using most recently is from Sioris, and it's called their My First Essener. Essencer? No, Essener. Green tea extract, mugwort leaf extract in here. You've also got, let's see, pretty short ingredients list too. You have rose flower water, polyglutamic acid, which is one of my favorite acids for locking in hydration. It almost works as kind of like a better version of hyaluronic acid. Artemisia, we already covered that. It does have hyaluronic acid in it in a couple forms as well. Pretty short ingredients list. No fragrance in this or that Xinjiang product. And it's got a really interesting kind of jelly consistency. You shake it and it holds on to those bubbles. It's got a little bit of that thickness to it. Reminds me a little bit of the Klairs Supple Preparation Toner, but maybe even slightly heavier. So you kind of have to like kind of force it out and get a little splash. And it's got that nice amber hue. So I once again splash in the hand, press. And you can smell that a little bit of that green tea coming through. Don't really get any of that rose, but it's got kind of a sweet honey scent to it as well. And so a little bit of stick to it, but it's not like tacky. It's just kind of that, like that chuck chuck, I guess, feel to it. And so we're gonna do one more. It's been a dry day. Let's do another layer of that. So far so good. I've been using that, happy with it. Sometimes, whatever the texturizer that some products use for this style of essence and toner or even serums that give it that kind of bounce or that weight, I feel like my skin reacts to it poorly. I didn't have a good time with the, oh my gosh, now I'm not gonna remember it. Oh no. I don't know what the name, I'll have to put it in the corner, I'll do something with it, but there was another toner that was like super, super popular. It was from the same line that had like a jelly mist. The jelly mists last year and even the year before were super popular too, where it was a pump style mist, but it was like a solid kind of jelly in the container. And so I was super excited. It was like a kombucha essence, but it had that same kind of thickness to it, and my skin hated it. I got really, really congested from it. So I'm not sure if it was that texture or the texturizers that they use in that, but or if it was something else in the formulation, but I just wasn't a fan. So yeah, between that toner and that essence, you get a really nice hydrated glow, some plumpness to the skin, which is really awesome, and it kind of stays. I'm not like scrambling to throw a serum on top of it. It kind of stays. That weight of that hydration, that deeper hydration kind of sticks with you, which is nice. Just a slight tack to the skin, but nothing uncomfortable and nothing that my serum or moisturizer isn't going to work away. So that's my toner and essence step, and then I'm doing a sheet mask tonight. We're going all in, like I said. And tonight I'm using the Milano CC. It's from Roto. I think it's the same company that makes... what is it? They make something else. Let me go look at my, one moment. They make this. Is it Hadalabo? It's Hadalabo. I think it's the, is it? Yes, I think they are the same company, Roto. Oh gosh, if I'm incorrect, just yell at me. But I'm pretty sure that they make the Milano CC and they also make the Hadalabo stuff. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I was interested in this because it's a 20 pack of sheet masks. And so I just started these this morning, and my goal is to do a 10-day, twice-a-day sheet mask challenge to see if I can get some brightening effect, hydrating effect from using the same sheet mask consistently. So we'll cover the ingredients once I finish that 10-day trial. I guess it'll be 10 and a half days because I didn't No, I started this morning. So yeah, 10-day trial. And it's just this kind of Kleenex box style, tissue style sheet masks that you snag out from in there. It has kind of a citrusy lemon scent, kind of like a citrus lemon candy, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is a little refreshing. And the other thing I'm not a huge fan of is this sheet mask material is just like so delicate, so thin, like it's hard. I worry that I'm gonna rip it open. But yeah, you kind of have to find a good spot. I mean, it feels like toilet paper. It's so thin. But it has vitamin C in it and some other brightening ingredients as well. So I was like, I wonder if I'm really consistent with it and buy these bulk sheet masks and commit to using them, if I'll see some reduction in hyperpigmentation, maybe some evening of the skin tone. If anything, that vitamin C is a really great antioxidant to work into your routine. I just don't know about the sheet mask quality itself. It leaves something to be desired. So I'm gonna do my best with this. I really am. Oh my gosh, it just folds and it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming a sheet mask snob, and I stopped using them for a while because I'm trying to avoid using so much one-time use product. But there's less packaging with these 20 packs because they're not individually wrapped. This is so hard to do on a camera. I'm sure I've said that in previous videos, but it's because usually I get real close to the mirror to flatten out all the little bumps and lumps and folds, but I'm kind of doing this at a distance. I'm gonna try to do this fast enough so I don't have to like speed it up. That's good enough. You know what? That just speaks to the mask material. I mean, it adheres nicely, and I found this morning that it didn't really dry out super fast, which I was worried about. Usually sheet masks with this quality of mask material just kind of go and it's just gone. But this held on to this essence, and it's like a nice light essence, lightweight, watery, thin, which is kind of nice. Has a slight cooling effect naturally just from that evaporation, I think. No irritation, no redness, no anything like that. It seems fine. I don't know. I think I am a sheet mask snob, and I love it when that sheet mask packet is just has so much essence and you can just pour it out and layer it on and just sit back for 30, 45 minutes, an hour, depending on the thickness of that sheet mask material, and just roll with it. And I feel like I get a lot more hydration out of that. And the other thing I've seen a lot of people using is this silicone sheet mask. It's almost like a reusable sheet mask that you can rinse and wash. So you just load your face up with serums and essences or whatever you want what you want to really soak in, and then you just lay this kind of rubberized sheet mask over your face. And then because it doesn't absorb anything, it's just creating a barrier so that stuff just kind of sits because it's not exposed to the air. And so I really want to try those because I think that might be the way to get around the excessive waste that comes with sheet masks. But then I was thinking, doesn't that require you to be excessive with your serum usage? Because in my head, or your essence usage, because in my head you really want a heavy amount. That's the whole point of this specialized treatment, is it's soaked in the thing. So I'm like, how do you get enough essence on your face or enough serum on your face to justify that special occasion? Why wouldn't you just put a serum on? So who knows? It's comfortable. I can talk just fine. It's not super inhibiting. I don't really mess with these eye flaps. Is the purpose for you to do this? If that's the case, I don't care. I don't care for that. I'd rather be able to see. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this on. I think on the Glowy, I got this on Glowy Co, not paid. They didn't send it to me. It's not part of a paid review. I'm doing it on my own accord, and I ordered it myself. I'll have to check their website and see what the usage is. I'd say it's somewhere from 5 to 20 minutes, something along those lines, because it'll probably dry out by then. So let's see how long this lasts. I'm gonna let you go. We'll keep going from there. Bye. All right, we're back. I started to notice some dryness just kind of generally on the forehead area, a little bit on the sides, and it's starting to kind of make its way down on my chin. In the meantime, I also looked up on the Glowy Co site. This mask has a vitamin C derivative, a vitamin E derivative, actual ascorbic acid, some citrus fruit extracts, not oils, texturizers, that type of thing, and then fragrance. So a pretty simple ingredients list, and it is made by the same company that makes Hada Labo. So figured that out as well. Let's go ahead and get this off. All right, well, it definitely leaves the skin hydrated. It definitely feels nice and soft. A little bit of brightening effect as well, which is nice. I mean, it's not, once again, just like the peach slices mask. It's not like, whoa, it might need to be more cumulative. I like that I'm getting an antioxidant boost from a sheet mask. Sorry, I'm looking over to the camera, but I'm happy with it. It does well considering the cost for the amount. I've got it pulled up. We've got 20 masks, $22. So is that it? It's $1.10 a mask. We're just gonna go with that. $1.10 a mask, not terrible. Not the cheapest thing in the world either. It feels nice. But yeah, it leaves the skin looking pretty glowy, a little bit brighter. I'm curious to see if it helps to reduce hyperpigmentation when used on that consistent basis. So fingers crossed there. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on, if this is your first time watching or it's been that 10 months since you watched my last video. My name's Anthony. ajkbeauty is kind of the handle I use on Instagram, here on YouTube, on my blog as well. I'll leave links for everything below. I belong to a bunch of different Korean skincare Facebook groups, a Drunk Elephant skincare Facebook group. I just recently signed up for the Mad About Skin Facebook group. And I've been doing skincare since 2018, or started really developing a routine in 2018, so it hasn't been that long, but I used to suffer from a lot of really deep, acne that would be kind of pussy and bloody and get kind of infected, especially on my jawline where I shave. It was really bad, and I'm still dealing with the hyperpigmentation and just the scarring and stuff from that. I still have pretty severely clogged pores, but I use a number of acids that incorporate to kind of minimize the appearance of that. I also have blackhead bumps, or those like sebum filled bumps on my temples, but it used to be much worse, and I've been left with some pitted acne scars in that area from like squeezing and stuff, because they'd get really, really big and kind of leave a pretty big depression. But that's a little bit about me. If it has been a while, you want to kind of get a refresher, reintroduction, hello. And thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to like and subscribe, all the YouTube things that everyone asks you to do. My goal is to be a lot more frequent with these videos and do independent reviews for each product that I finish with, as a companion to the written review that I do. There's, I think, close to 600 product reviews on my blog, between full-size skincare products and sheet masks and that type of thing. Hair care, body care, pretty much anything that you put on your skin. I've been delving into it, and I love trying products. I'm fortunate enough to get sent things from time to time, but for the most part I buy stuff with my own money. And anytime I finish a review, usually I take about a month to 6 weeks to do a review for a particular product. I will either decant it and give it away to friends or family, or just give the full size away to someone that is looking to build a skincare routine. So I try to pay it forward as much as I can financially manage. And so I don't hoard skincare. I have a ton of unused skincare behind me. There is a lot, but once I hit my month mark, if it's still half full, 3/4 of the way full, I tend to decant it and try to share the love as much as I can to give people the opportunity to improve their skin. So that's why I'm here, and that's what I do. So that's where we are now that the sheet mask is done. Right now I am using the eNature Birch Juice Hydro Serum. This was sent to me. I utilized my points on SocoGlam. I spend a lot of time and money at and on SocoGlam. It's kind of my favorite e-retailer alongside Glow Eco. They're kind of like the two that I'm picking up whatever their new curations are, or restocks are that I haven't got a chance to try. I'm almost usually just like click, 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 as long as it meets a couple things that I do look for in my skincare. I try to buy stuff that I know I'm gonna like. I don't like spending, in buying stuff knowing that my skin's probably not gonna get along with it just for the sake of trying it. So a lot of my reviews tend to be pretty positive as long as some key things are met and I did see some benefit from it. I think it'll work for somebody. Might not always work perfectly for me, but it's always usually me comparing good things versus amazing things and trying to find those nuances between what was okay, fine, I could buy it again, or let's get 10 of these. I'll just get a whole palette of that cleanser or whatever it is. So that's kind of where I'm at. eNature and its birch juice, they use, I believe, a couple different forms of birch sap or birch juice extract or birch juice water in their formulations. This package is all in Korean, and I should have looked it up, but I didn't. So when I do my full review of this, I'll make sure to give you a full breakdown. It has that kind of glycerin, hyaluronic acid kind of jelly feel. It might have some squalane, and it has a little bit of a creaminess to it, but you can see it's still pretty fluid. I do 2 pumps of this product in my hand. Massage, press. I want to say it has fragrance in it. It most certainly does. In the form of essential oils, I want to say too, because it's a little bit more potent and intense than an extract. I'm getting lavender from this. I'm getting probably bergamot, which my skin doesn't love. But I've been using this for a while. I want to say a couple weeks now, and I haven't seen any negative effect. So it has a nice absorption, but it also has a little bit of an oily feel. Not sure if that's from those fragrant oils, those essential oils in there, or if there is like a meadow foam or something like that in here. But it leaves a nice satiny glow to the skin, a little bit of a slip, a little bit of a glide, and so far my skin seems to be liking it. I'm curious, sometimes I use stuff that has heavy essential oils, which this might not, I'm just going off of the scent. Sometimes it takes that almost, I get to like 3.5 weeks of a 4-week test and my skin's just like, no, why? So usually when something's fragrance like this and it's doing okay, I give it a thorough run through because sometimes my skin's slow to respond to those potential irritants. But so far I like it. It leaves my skin feeling nice and soft, hydrated. I can feel that I'm building those layers of hydration, going from that really watery Etude House Xinjiang toner, something a little bit thicker in that Cioris essence, and then sheet mask is a sheet mask, that's kind of watery hydration, and I don't always do a sheet mask, and then moving into that serum that has just a little bit more of that weight, so kind of working my way up in those textures and consistencies to build those nourishing layers in hopes that it's eventually going to create a nice combination that locks everything in with that final couple steps, which we're going to talk about now. I am doing kind of a combination right now, and mainly it's because I'm working on a paid review. I'm using as my moisturizer the Etude House Xinjiang Hydro Barrier Cream. This is part of that Xinjiang review that I'm doing for Glow Eco. And this is a little bit more of a lightweight moisturizer compared to some of the other ones from that Xinjiang line. There's a cream that I'm going to be trying after this. So as we transition into fall and winter and it starts to dry, I'm thinking I'm going to need a little bit more than this. It was fine a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, when it was still fairly warm. But now that we're getting those consistent cooler temperatures, that dryness, I do need something to bolster that. And I'm doing that in the form of the Face Story Collection Calming Glow Weightless Facial Oil. So there's that there. This is packed with squalane, rice bran water, you've got linseed oil in here, soybean oil in here, ceramides, and some essential oils too, which we'll talk about the scent here. But it has this really interesting cream/oil combination that works really well in conjunction with the moisturizer. So I actually go with the hydro cream first and then finish with the oil. You can see it's got a little bit of a gel consistency. It's almost like a gel moisturizer. It's got a little weight to it, but not like a tube style, like thick, balmy kind of moisturizer. Can see how it's got a little bit of a translucent look to it. So, usually have my spatula, but I left it right over there, so I dip my finger in there, get a little dollop, work it through the hands, press. Doesn't really have a scent to it whatsoever. It's also a very simplistic ingredients list, just like the rest of the Xinjiang line. You've got Panthenol in here, which is kind of the star ingredient of the whole line. There might be some squalene in here. I'll have to look at that box. and just some more watery hydrators, it leaves a really nice finish. This has been great in that mild weather, but not super hot. It's a good transition cream, and then you work in oil in as it gets cooler, as you need it, depending on your skin type. And then in the winter, I'm gonna probably fully transition to something a little bit heavier. But I really like the way it feels. It just kind of soaks right into skin pretty much immediately. Leaves a little bit of that dewy finish, but it doesn't feel oily or slippery. It just feels plump, hydrated, moisturized, quite nice. Let's see. Panthenol, hello. You also have a bunch of different texturizers in here. This is really just Panthenol and texturizers. Allantoin, depending on if you're right or not. Madecassoside, green tea leaf. It kind of has similar ingredients to the toner, just with the texturizers and emulsifiers to make it into a lotion or a cream. So I have the Xinjiang emulsion to try next, and then I also have their like Balm, or it's like a thicker moisturizer. So I'm going to try all three of them as part of this combo review. But I really like this. I've just found that once I get outside, if I just do this in my sunscreen, I can get a little bit zapped of moisture during the day. So I try to reach for a sunscreen that has a little bit more of a moisture locking ability. Sometimes heavier in the silicones works. And then at nighttime, it can get pretty warm in here. If we have a window cracked or I didn't turn on my humidifier, I can wake up feeling a little bit zapped of moisture too. So it doesn't do as great of a job as I'd like of really holding that moisture to the skin. It almost feels like a thicker serum, like a kind of an in-between. So that's why I incorporate that facial oil. Oops. I forgot my eye cream. Real quick, this is the Advanced Nail Peptide Eye Cream from CosRX. Nice gel-like eye cream, kind of jelly cream. Almost like the Xinjiang moisturizer. I've been using this for 5 months now because I use just the tiniest amount. Oh yeah, just that amount for both of my eyes. I just kind of bloop, bloop, bloop. And so it's lasted me forever. Nice and hydrating. I have felt like it's been firming and kind of filling out some of the very mild creases I'm starting to get with age. And it seems like it's pretty reparative too. If I accidentally get chemical exfoliators or actives too close to my eye area, sometimes I can get a little bit of irritation or crepey kind of feeling from getting it too close, and this helps to kind of bring that back. I don't use this every single night, which is probably why it's lasted me so long, but on nights where the area around my eyes is feeling overworked, then I'll give it a shot if it's feeling dry, or if I did apply actives, I'll usually go over my eye area just to kind of buffer that a little bit if I did get too close. I really try not to, but sometimes when you're in a rush, I'll take my BHA serum and I'm just kind of like doing this and I'm like, oh, whoops. So I try to be good about it, but this has been really helpful and it absorbs nicely, doesn't feel heavy or greasy, and as I age, I am experimenting with eye creams a little bit more, and this one I landed on and it seems fine. I don't know if I'm not that interested in exploring other eye creams now that I found this because it's just lasted for so long and it's been doing the job. So I'm very happy with this. I think I started like May 25th or 26th, so almost exactly, June, July, August, September. Yeah, exactly 5 months since I started this, and I don't think I still got a ways to go, so this might be a once-a-year purchase for me, who knows. But that oil will be my final step. So that's what it looks like here, Calming Glow Oil. And I do a full pipette of this. I go pretty heavy. I like to give my skin, if I do use it in the daytime, not as much. I just use a few drops, but at night, I almost use this as like a night mask in a liquid form. So then the pipette's not as big as some other ones, and it doesn't soak up as much product as some other ones. So, boop. Seems like a lot, but because it's this really interesting creamy, see how it kind of lightweight it is? This interesting creamy texture with those oils, it doesn't feel like incredibly heavy or greasy or thick. It's rather lightweight for an oil, but just enough. Nice oil for those with combination oily skin that want a little bit something in the wintertime but don't want a straight up oil. And there comes the scents. So I'll read the essential oils, but this one has a pretty heavy lavender slash citrus scent, but my skin has been so far so good with it. I don't necessarily know if I'd come back to it. I still need a little bit more time with it, just because I do worry about excess fragrance. I try to avoid it, specifically to essential oils. I honestly don't mind synthetic fragrance that much. It's the essential oil stuff that can sometimes react poorly with my skin. So let's take a look and see what we've got here. Bergamot, tea tree, which is definitely there. Cedar bark oil. There's gotta be some lavender. Maybe there isn't any lavender in here. It kind of, oh, there's rosemary, rosemary leaf extract in here as well. So, I don't know. It's got some other beneficial ingredients. There's some licorice root in here too. But, I like it. It serves a purpose right now. I'm not sad that I purchased it. It's not a bad product. It's just, there are some really lightweight oils that my skin can do okay with and not feel overworked. There's the golden jojoba oil from Solve Skincare I love. No issues there. The super berry oil from Youth to the People is nice and lightweight, especially if you just do a couple drops in your moisturizer to kind of work that out so it kind of absorbs a little bit nicer and spreads. But this is okay. It's fine. It's an interesting consistency. It doesn't blow me away, but it does serve the purpose for that transition from fall, or from summer into fall, into, you know, into that cooler temperature. And so my skin in general doesn't feel overly heavy. It's got a layer, but that's kind of what I'm looking for in my PM routine. But I don't suspect that this has too much of a pillow transfer or anything like that. And after about 10 minutes, it all just kind of settles. So that's that. That's my whole evening routine. I say all the time, and I've been called out on it before, and I do try to be more conscious of it, but then when I overthink it, I feel like my whole speech, my whole manner of talking kind of gets stunted because I'm constantly trying to prevent myself from saying it. I'm going to keep practicing. There's other things that I've got plenty to improve on. I want to do a better background. This is just kind of impromptu in my office with some of my house plants and some pharmacy products and my little MetaHeal Valentine's Day box that I got from Soko Glam, and then my Eclair LED therapy mask, which I did a review on way back in the day. So we're growing, we're evolving. I'm just happy to be in a space where I feel comfortable and confident to even throw on the light and throw on the camera and give it a shot, because I've really missed it. I love interacting with everyone. I love talking about skincare products. And sometimes it's more fun to just chat about them than sitting down and writing a super long review. I love that too, but this is kind of more of a just casual, let's talk about skincare. I love to hear your feedback on any of these products if you have tried them, if you want me to do a deeper dive. As I do my written reviews, like I mentioned, I will try my best to record a video. They might just be little 5-minute, 10-minute snippets, just a quick review of a product and how it worked for me over the month, and then I'll link to the blog for a more detailed, in-depth review. But at least I can show you texture, consistency, how it applies, all of that fun stuff. So be on the lookout for more content coming soon. I'm not going to promise any sort of consistency or timeline. I get myself in trouble where I'm like, ooh, I've got this going on this week. I really just said today's the day. I set it all up, threw the light on, and we just went for it. So who knows? I might have, get a wild hair after work tomorrow and do another one, or just crank through a few on a weekend. But I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to be here. I'm so happy to be in this space. I'll do a home tour once I get myself a little bit more mobile here and just kind of settle everything in. I have a whole houseplant area where these guys came from that I'd like to show you. So anything you need. If there's also a product that you've been eyeing or thinking about and you're wondering, ooh, I want to get some information on texture and consistency and scent and that stuff, I've literally behind me got, we're just gonna flip around real quick. There is the skincare shelf. So if you see anything in there you want me to snag or review, stick with me here on this channel. Check out my blog, check out Instagram for stories and snippets on first impressions for products, but we're gonna get through some products and talk about all of them. So stick around, and thank you so much for watching again. Stay glowing. Bye.